It's very hard to find something that can provide you with an income that is either the same or greater than a wage that you would get from working. A lot of these things that you can find in the UK around 4%. You can see the profit on 30k for this example. 4% a year, it isn't much. The other kind of avenues you can go down is obviously something like the S&P 500. Averages around 10% a year. I think the average over the last 5 years is 13.5% at the very top end, which again means you need a higher capital to get something back that is actually worth it. You know, this leads people to go down the avenue of obviously crypto. Now, we know Bitcoin has had a greater ROI than both a savings account and the S&P 500. And this is why you've got people who get into crypto and as well as buying Bitcoin, get into altcoins. So you see on the screen, you got Ethereum, you got Solana, and they get an ROI back on it every year if it goes up, but also they gain more of that token by staking it. So you get 3% here in ETH, around 6% in Sol, variable on your stable coins. But that still is not an ROI per month generated from your crypto. Not enough, in my opinion. So where do we go from here? I've shown this many times, and this is off a very small deposit of $4,200, earning around 54% APR. So we've got two assets here, where I've got Ethereum and Kita and Ethereum and the Euro coin. And I'm not telling you to do this. I play about with these pools and I'm growing this 4K to 10K. Passively, this is earning around, I think it's about $200 a month at the moment. And obviously this can compound over time. If you were to scale this up, obviously, of 40,000, that would be 2K a month of 40K deposits, which 2K a month could be your wage. You scale that up again, 80K a month, that's 4K a month. Now you may think, well, that seems ridiculous compared to what I'm getting in the other income streams. And again, it's like, well, this is just holding these assets in these liquidity pools. And the actual yield that is coming back off these is not off the price going up, the price going down. It is off the volume that goes through them. And with price fluctuations, you can still get a similar ROI on this. It is variable, may I add. You can get back every month. The main sticking point that will come up, though, I guarantee when people look into this, is something called impermanent loss, where people say, well, if I deposit my crypto that I've got into these pools, what is this impermanent loss situation that people speak about? Because I don't want to lose my crypto that I have DCA'd into over the past couple of years. You may have already lost something in the market in terms of the price fluctuation. So you don't want to lose anything going forward with impermanent loss. This is a simple ETH USDC example. So if you were to deposit let's just say ETH is 2K, deposit 5K worth of ETH, 5K worth of USDC. So that's 10K into liquidity pool, which is ETH and USDC. In scenario one, if the price of ETH goes from 2K to 2.5, if you just held your coins, the value would be 11,250. If you put them in a liquidity pool, the value would be 11,115. So that's an impermanent loss of 1.2%. So price goes up, you're down 1.2%. If the price goes down to $1,500, the total price you'd have is it's $8,750 if you just held. If you put it in a liquidity pool, it would be $8,645. Difference of $105, 1.2% impermanent loss. Now, this is what matters. Let's just say you've got a 40% yield on this pool, which is realistic, 3.3% a month. This means that in 10 to 12 days, based on this 10K in the pool, you would cover that impermanent loss in 10 days. The bit most people miss, though, is because it is impermanent, the price just goes back down to the middle. Impermanent loss kind of disappears. Impermanent loss is a paper loss, if that makes sense. So it's just like if you have ETH, the price of ETH goes up, you've not actually got a loss or a gain until you sell it. You know, the price fluctuates all the time, but you're not actually locking in that gain or loss until you sell it. And it's the same with impermanent loss, right? The more yield you get out of that pool, the more it becomes irrelevant about impermanent loss because you've earned money from the pool anyway. This is why we set sensible ranges, and a range is the price. If you get into this ETH and USDC one, a lower range of ETH and a higher range of ETH, okay? And this is why we talk about liquidity pools in a bear market more, because it makes sense. If you're putting a liquidity pool together in a bear market where the price of something is just fluctuating ridiculously, going up, then impermanent loss happens more because of the more extreme price fluctuations. In a bear market, you tend to go more sideways and slowly grind rather than massively going upwards, which we saw in the bull run after Trump got elected. It just went crazy, right? I've shown a chart many times, and people still don't believe in the 4-year cycle. I'm not sure why, because this chart is showing you the Bitcoin halving, and it's showing you each crypto cycle from the Bitcoin halving to the top of the market. And now we're in the cycle of the bear market, 2-year period before the next halving. So my question is to you, are you going to just hold on to your coins and do nothing for 2 years? Or are you going to try and get some yield back in them? Because you can either get the yield from the coins, spend it on what you want and live it like a monthly wage, or you can just accumulate more of the same coins you've got in that 2-year period. And again, if you don't know what I'm on about, you want a bit of guidance on it, you can join the beginner group. It's literally $9 a month. Learn the basics, and then you can scale up if you want to work more closely with me after that. Completely up to you, or you can go at it yourself as well. That's it from me today. If you do enjoy my content, please like, subscribe. See you very soon.